Hello everyone, today I will present a commentary on the article Monetary Incentives for Formalization, a Labor Supply Analysis for Colombia by Farm Silva, Rodriguez and Escobar. This paper examines whether offering monetary incentives can encourage workers in Colombia to move from informal to formal employment. It addresses a key issue in developing economies: high levels of labor informality and the challenges of reducing it. To understand the article, we first need to consider the broader context. In Colombia, a large proportion of workers are employed in the informal sector. Informal jobs typically lack social protection, job stability, and legal benefits, such as pensions or health insurance. Despite government efforts, informality remains persistent. One reason is that formal jobs often involve costs for workers such as taxes or reduced flexibility, which can discourage them from entering the formal sector. This creates a policy dilemma. How can governments design incentives that make formality more attractive without generating excessive fiscal cost? The main objective of the article is to evaluate how monetary incentives affect individuals' decisions to participate in formal labor markets. The authors develop a labor supply model that incorporates workers' preference, income trade-offs, and institutional constraints. They analyze how people respond when financial incentives are introduced to encourage formal employment. A key feature of the study is that it focuses on the supply side, that is, workers' decisions, rather than only firm behavior. This is important because even if formal jobs are available, workers may still choose informality. Using empirical data from Colombia, the authors simulate different policy scenarios involving monetary incentives. Their findings show that financial incentives can indeed increase formalizations, but the effects are moderate and depend on several factors. For example, workers with lower incomes or less stable employment are more responsive to incentives. However, for many individuals, the benefits of informality, such as flexibility or immediate income, still outweigh the advantage of formal jobs. Additionally, the study finds that the design of the incentive matters. Small transfers might not be enough to change behavior, while larger incentives can be effective but may be costly for the government. The article provides important insights for public policy. First, monetary incentives alone are not sufficient to solve informality. They should be combined with broader reforms such as improving job quality and reducing barriers to formal employment. Second, targeting is crucial. Policies should focus on groups that are more likely to respond, such as low-income or vulnerable workers. Finally, policymakers must consider the trade-off between effectiveness and fiscal sustainability. Large-scale incentive programs can be expensive and may not generate proportional benefits. The article also raises some critical questions. While monetary incentives can influence behavior, they do not fully address structural issues like inequality, low productivity, or limited access to formal jobs. Moreover, there is a risk that temporary incentives may only produce short-term effects, without leading to lasting changes in labor market dynamics. This suggests that formalization policies need a comprehensive approach combining economic incentives with institutional reforms. In conclusion, the article shows that monetary incentives can play a role in promoting labor formalization in Colombia, but their impact is limited and context-dependent. The study highlights the complexity of labor markets and the need for well-designed, multifaceted policies. Thank you for listening. I hope this commentary helps you better to understand the challenges of labor formalization and the role of incentives in economic.